From UFOs being shot down over Montana to trains being derailed and releasing toxic chemicals into the air. Has time finally came for ET to call home, or was it just a distraction from what's really going on? You're watching The Demetrios Show, and I'm your host, Demetrios.
I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
Moving with the first article, we actually have worried residents near Ohio train derailment report dead fish and chickens as authorities say it's safe to return. So, this is just a weird situation. Now, this does not happen often, obviously. How fast was a train going to actually get derailed off the train track? It's just absurd. Why are you going that fast? You don't need to. For days, authorities have been telling residents in the area around East Palestine, Ohio, that it is safe to return home after a 150-car train carrying hazardous chemicals derailed on February 3rd. The Ohio Department of Natural Resources said that the chemical spill resulting from the derailment has killed an estimated of 3,500 small fish across 7.5 miles of streams as of Wednesday. And one resident of North Lima, more than 10 miles from East Palestine, told WKBN TV of Youngstontown that's her 5 hens and rooster died suddenly on Tuesday. The day before, rail operator Norfolk Southern had buried train cars carrying vinyl chloride, a flammable gas, to prevent an explosion. For some people who live near the derailment site, the reports continue to spur fear that they might have their animals exposed to the chemicals through the air, water, or soil. Don't tell me it's safe. Something is wrong here. Fish are floating in the creek, Kathy Reese, who lives in Negley, Ohio, told NBC affiliate WPXI of Pittsburgh last week. Reese said she saw dead fish in the stream that flows through her backyard. Jenna Ganios, 39, a wedding photographer, is nearby Broadman, said that she has a persistent cough for the past week and a half. She has been drinking bottled water and she is uncomfortable bathing in water from her bedroom spigot, she said. They only evacuated 1 mile of space, and that's just insane to me, she said, coughing throughout the whole conversation. I'm concerned with the long-term health impact. It's just a mess. And I completely agree. If we have a chemical release happening here, I would not just evacuate 1 square mile of radius around the event. I would do 10 miles, 20 miles, make sure everybody knows. Make sure we're testing farther and farther away to make sure if anything gets leaked out, we already know. So I'm pretty sure that they're on this already because they don't take this stuff lightly. But it's just absurd for the people that are living here. They have to deal with the repercussions of the driver going too fast. After the controlled burn, the Environmental Protection Agency warned area residents of possible lingering odors, but noted that the byproducts of vinyl chloride can emit smells at levels lower than what is considered hazardous. Ohio officials said Wednesday that residents could return home after air quality samples, quote, showed readings at points below safety screening levels for contaminants of concern. The EPA, which is overseeing the air quality testing, said air monitoring since the fire went out has not detected any levels of concern in the community that can be attributed to the incident at this time. However, the EPA said Friday in a letter to Norfolk Southern that chemicals carried on the train continue to be released to the air, surface soils, and surface waters. The EPA said that as of Saturday evening, it had screened the indoor air in 210 homes and didn't detect vinyl chloride. Another 218 homes have yet to be screened as of Sunday, it said. The EPA classifies vinyl chloride as carcinogen. Routine exposure could increase one's risk of liver damage or liver cancer. Short-term exposure to high contaminants can cause drowsiness, loss of coordination, disorientation, nausea, headache, or burning or tingling, according to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention. East Palestine has scheduled an emergency council meeting for Wednesday to respond to the consultants' concerns. Okay, so they say concerns. Okay, so if you live in the area, I would go to this council meeting. Like, why wouldn't you? If you're a citizen of that community, go to that. I would go. Because you need to make sure that everything's safe. You need to make sure that this won't happen again. You need to rest assured at night. You can't just be sleeping all of a sudden and boom, your house blows up because there's another train track got derailed. Or another train got derailed off the track. Like, no, we need to be assured this time that this will never happen again. When they combusted the materials, they created other chemicals. The question is, what did they create? He said. Walton added that some of the other chemicals the train carried could also cause headaches, nausea, vomiting, or skin irritation. In Darlington, Pennsylvania, 4 miles from the accident, managers of the Kindred Spirits Rescue Ranch evacuated 77 of their biggest animals, including a yak, a zebra, for 2 days. We could see that plume come up and over us, said the ranch's founder, Liza Mary Spoko. Our eyes were burning, and my face could feel it. Spoko said she's concerned about the conditions. The ranch's water comes from its own 2 wells, but until experts can test them, Spoko said her team is using one well with a more sophisticated filtration system. The Ohio Department of Agriculture said the risk of livestock remains low. ODA has not received any official reports regarding the wellness of animals related to the incident, it said in a statement. Okay, so if chickens are dying, if fish are dying, then yes, these yaks, these other animals are going to be affected from this, obviously. Still, the Ohio Farm Bureau Federation is urging members to get the water from their local wells tested as soon as possible. The biggest concern is the water table at this point, to see what kind of exposure there has been to these chemicals, said the Bureau's organizing director, Kik Kennedy. There's some level of frustration out there among farmers, Kennedy added. They just want answers. Their livelihoods might be at stake here, exactly. Laura Faris, the public information officer for the Columbia County Health District, said that the department began groundwater sampling last week in the partnership with the state health department. The state EPA and contractors for Norfolk Southern. The results haven't come back yet, Falls said, and she didn't know when to expect them. She added that her department has received no reports of residents experiencing abnormal symptoms. But Demetrios said she and other residents haven't gotten all of their questions answered. So in the meantime, she has started a Facebook page where people can keep in touch about their concerns. Of course, this is the best thing that we can do. And watch, Facebook ban it. Anything that we say, oh, wait, I'm feeling this, nope, you're not supposed to feel that way. No, you're not supposed to feel that way. So moving into the next thing, we're going to get a little bit spicy here. So now we're going to be talking about the aliens. So if you did not already hear, come on, I'm trying to get this article up. Okay, so if you did not already hear, we had quote unquote UFOs shot over Montana. According to the New York Times, what's going on up there? Theories, but no answers on shoot-downs of mystery craft. Okay, so the United States and Canada are investigating 3 unidentified flying objects, UFOs, shot down over North America in the past 3 days. Militaries have adjusted radars to try to spot more incursions. Okay, so is this another weather balloon from China? Is this ET trying to call home? What is this? Is this Xi Jinping in his little, I don't know, drone thing? What is this? What's going on? Let's find out. Washington. If the truth is out there, it certainly has not been apparent yet. Pentagon and intelligence officials are trying to make sense of 3 unidentified flying objects over Alaska, Canada, and Michigan. The United States fighter jets shut down with missiles on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The latest turn in aerial show taking place in the skies above North America comes after a helter-skelter weekend involving what at times seemed like an invasion of unidentified flying objects. The latest object has first been spotted on Saturday over Montana, initially sparking debate over whether it ever even existed. On Saturday, military officials detected a radar blimp over Montana, which then disappeared, leading them to conclude it was an abnormality. Then a blimp appeared Sunday over Montana, then Wisconsin, then Michigan. Once military officials obtained visual confirmation, they ordered an F-16 to shoot it down over Lake Huron. There are two big questions around the episodes. What were the craft, and why does the United States appear to be seeing more suddenly and shooting down more? There are no answers to the first question yet. American officials do not know what the objects were, much less their purpose or who set them. For the second, it is not clear if there are suddenly more objects, but what is certain is that in the wake of the recent incursion by a Chinese spy balloon, the United States and Canadian militaries are hyper-vigilant in flagging some objects that might previously have been allowed to pass. After the transit of the spy balloon this month, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD, adjusted its radar system to make it more sensitive. As a result, the number of objects that it detected increased sharply. In other words, NORAD is picking up more incursions because it's looking for them, spurred on by the heightened awareness caused by the furor over the spy balloon, which floated over the continental United States for a week before an F-22 shut it down on February 4th. Quote, "We have been more closely scrutinizing our airspace at these altitudes, including enhancing our radar, which may at least partly explain the increase in objects that we've detected over the past week," Melissa Dalton, the Assistant Secretary of Defense for Homeland Defense in Hemispheric Affairs, said at a news conference on Sunday evening. American officials have not completely discounted theories that there could also be more objects, period. Some officials theorize that the objects could be from China or another foreign power and may be aimed at testing detection abilities after the spy balloon. The object spotted approaching Lake Huron on Sunday was flying at 20,000 feet and presented a potential threat to civil aviation. So, President Biden ordered to shoot it down. United States officials said it had an octagonal structure with strings hanging off it, but no discernible payload, they added. United States and Canadian officials say that the objects shot down on Friday and Saturday were also flying lower than the spy balloon, posing a greater danger to civilian aircraft, which prompted leaders to order them be destroyed. Those two objects were flying over parts of Alaska and the Yukon that have few residents. And the third objects downed on Sunday was over water, so risks posed by falling debris were minimal, they said. Of course, because they're trying to cover their butt now. Listen, before, when the spy balloon was going over Alaska, Alaska's all snow. Alaska's all ice. If you shot that thing down, it's going to fall on, a polar bear? Wow, oh my god, big deal. It's a balloon. So, there was no excuse not to shoot down the spy balloon as soon as it entered Alaska. But of course, we're going to have it going to the continental United States and make it comfortable, see our military bases. It's okay, just let it. It's okay. Have some iced tea with it. Have some Arnold Palmer with it. It's okay. Just let it be. The spy balloon that drifted across the United States flew much higher at 60,000 feet and did not pose a danger to aircraft, but any falling debris could have hit people on the ground, Pentagon officials said. Throughout the weekend, officials said that they were trying to determine what the three objects were. The first, a Defense Department official said, it is most likely not a balloon, and it broke into pieces after it was shot down on Friday. Saturday's objects were described by the Canadian officials as cylindrical. The American officials say that it was more likely to be a balloon of some kind. Sunday's object appeared unlikely to be a balloon, one official said. NORAD radar tracked the first two objects for at least 12 hours before they were shot down, but Defense Department officials have never said whether they picked the objects up on the radar before they neared American airspace. One official said it was unclear that One official said that it is unclear what keeps the objects aloft. United States officials said that they are reviewing video and other sensor readings collected by the American pilots who observed the objects before their destruction. But the exact nature of the objects, where they were from, and what they were intended for will not be confirmed until the FBI and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police have a chance of thoroughly examining the debris, officials said. Asked during a news conference on Sunday whether he had ruled out extraterrestrial origins, General Glenn D. Verheck, the commander of the Air Force's Northern Command, said, quote, "I haven't ruled out anything at this point." But the interviews Sunday, national security officials discounted any thoughts that what the Air Force shot out of the sky represented any sort of alien visitors. No one, the way that they write this article, it's just so stupid. One senior official said, thinks these things are anything other than devices fashioned here from Earth. Okay, so right away, you need to ask some questions here. Why are they going out and saying it's not aliens? Listen, if I want to see E.T., I'm going to see E.T. You're not going to stop me. Second of all, as soon as you say that it's not something, we need to say that it is something, because we don't trust you at all. Luis Elizondo, the military intelligence officer who ran the Pentagon's UFO program until 2017, concerned, but he said that the Biden administration must find a way to balance vigilance over what is going on in the skies above America against chasing our tail. Whenever something unknown shows up, a tough task, he said. Okay, so to make ourselves look more powerful, we need to shoot down anything that enters our airspace, but that's not chasing our own tail. We need to tell other countries, knock it off right now. If you want to keep annoying us with balloons and costing us money, we're going to charge you for the money that you're wasting. Stop sending your balloons into our airspace. Do you want us to do the same thing? Then we're going to have balloons all over the sky everywhere? Stop. How old are you? Other countries are going to send us balloons? Okay, happy Valentine's Day to you too. I don't want your stupid balloon. Keep it. Oh my God, what's happening here now is if you have low-end technology being used to harass America, he said in an interview. It is a high-impact, low-cost way for China to do this. And the more you look up in the sky, the more you will see it. At the urging of Congress, the Pentagon and intelligence agencies have intensified their study of unexplained incidents near military bases in recent years. The studies on which the intelligence community calls unidentified aerial phenomena have pinpointed previously undetected efforts to conduct surveillance on American military exercises and bases. Many of those unexplained incidents have been balloons, and some of them are now believed to be attempted surveillance activity by China or other powers, both using balloons and surveillance drones. In a public report released last month, the intelligence community said that there was 366 unexplained incidents. 163 were later identified as balloons. A related classified document whose findings were reported this month in the New York Times said at least 2 incidents at United States military bases could be examples of advanced aerial technology possibly developed by China. Quote, "We can now assess flight patterns and trajectory in a much more scientific way," said Senator Christian Gillibrand, a New York Democrat who wrote the recent legislation mandating greater internal military reporting and analysis of aerial phenomenon, leading to more documentation of sightings. You need to know who's using the technology and what it is. The most alarming theory under consideration by some United States officials is that the objects are sent by China or another power in an attempt to learn about American radar or early warning systems. A senior administration official said one theory, and the persons trust that it is just a theory, is that China or Russia sent the objects to test American intelligence gathering capabilities. They could be sent to learn both how quickly the United States becomes aware of the intrusion and how quickly the military can respond to such incursion, the official said. American officials are united in their belief that the spy balloon that transited the United States was a Chinese machine meant to conduct surveillance on American military bases. Officials said that it was unclear if China had complete control of the balloon during its whole journey, but officials said that China did have at least a limited ability to steer it, and the balloon maneuvered on February 3rd before it was shot down the next day. Another American official said that the Chinese spy balloon was equipped with a self-destruct mechanism, but Beijing did not use it, a potential sign that Chinese officials wanted to continue to collect intelligence even after it was discovered. The disclosure of this balloon by the Pentagon on February 2nd led to a public diplomatic crisis between China and the United States. Oh well, China, if you really want to go, let's go. If you want to do this war over a balloon, then you're going to look like a stupid person. My God, I can't. Beijing said that it has the right to respond further. On Sunday, a Chinese newspaper reported that a local maritime authorities in Shandong province on the east coast has spotted an unidentified flying object in waters of the city of Ritro and were preparing to shoot it down. State-run news organizations reposted the information. Okay, so now China is seeing that the United States is quote-unquote, I mean, this is according to Chinese propaganda, so I don't believe this at all, but now they're saying that the United States is sending them balloons. So now they're getting ready to shoot it. Okay? And so you can't complain now. If we send you stuff, oh well, and then we're going to say you're overreacting and shoot you in the face? Like, are you serious right now? Are you serious? Don't send your stupid balloons. Keep your balloons to yourself. Thank you very much. We don't want your balloons. Happy Valentine's Day. We don't want your love balloons, Xi Jinping, even Kim Jong-un or Vladimir Putin. We don't need any of your balloons. You can keep your balloons where they came from. Send them back to China. We don't want them. Thank you very much. No, thank you. If any of the devices destroyed in North America over the past 3 days were Chinese, it would amount to a major privation on the heels of the spy balloon. One reason some officials said not to jump to the conclusion that the objects were surveillance devices sent by Beijing. Oh well, if you really, I can't do this with China. China, you're not in any situation to be trying to get into war right now. You are not in any situation. China, just because you make all of our stuff in the United States does not mean that you can bully us. Listen, we're going to start making this stuff in the United States, and that's why we need to invest heavily in the United States manufacturing, in the made in America products. Because if this stuff keeps happening in China, what if China says, no, you're cut off. Boom, we're mad at you. You can't have anything. You can't have iPhones. You can't have anything Apple. You can't have anything Samsung. You can't have anything at all that's made from China. Walmart would go out of business. Target would go out of business. Every single store would go out of business. And that's sad. That's sad that we rely so heavily on China that if China says you cannot have anything made from us, then the whole entire country would have absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's sad. That's just showing that we need to invest more heavily onto other methods of production. We need to invest more heavily on methods that is going to make stuff made here, not made in China.